But the thing that's good about Boston is that there's enough political and social space here that you can bring a small group of people together. And if they figure out where they want to go, you can probably get the philanthropic resources to support it, okay? And you can take some risk. You can do some even tough work that's risky without having to pay an awful price, such as losing your job, etc. Okay? Not true of other places. If I had tried to do some of the things I had done in Boston, in New York, or Chicago, or Philadelphia, or LA, I would have probably been forced to leave those cities. Okay? Because my first advocacy thing was when I launched a one-day general strike in 1963.
Oh, yeah.
You knew that, right? Yeah, 1963, I came up with the idea. This was when the civil rights movement was rocking in the South, and it was coming into the Boston community. I came up with the idea of a general strike for all blacks to stay out of work for a day, to protest all forms of racial discrimination, and have white allies join us in staying out of work. And there were a lot of people embraced it, but there were a lot of people who were very angry about it, like people in the business community, because people were going to stay out of doing cleaning the John Hancock Tower, et cetera, okay? Disruptive. There was a need for disruption, but people don't really understand that there was racial discrimination here big time. And some business folks called the agency I was working at, the Boston Children's Service Association, and basically they were after taking my job, okay? And Dr. Wallen, who was the head of the agency, said to them, "I don't know what you're talking about. This guy's a fabulous social worker. He's doing his work. We love him. Leave me alone. Okay? Leave me alone. Okay? Now, if I hadn't had Mel King with me, you know Mel King, this African American civic leader, and he's been here.
Of course.
Okay. Well, he embraced the idea, and he was basically my protector. Okay? And if I hadn't had him with me when we got this thing moving and it got rocking, I could have been forced out of this city. I could have been forced out of this city. I would if I tried it in New York, for sure. I knew New York, and I know its social structure. I know its political structure. Of course, I also had traditional black organizations opposed to this, because I was some young guy just coming out of nowhere, talking about leading a general strike. And who the hell do you think you are? Are you kidding me? No way. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. And I said, well, you can't stop it because people are just signing on to do this. People are just signing on.
How many people signed on?
Well, we had, we led a march of 1,000 people that day.
Wow.
From the Carter Playground in the South End. We started out with 500 people who came to the rally who had stayed out of work. And we started to march down Columbus Avenue to the Boston Common, where there was a memorial service held that day to memorialize Medgar Evers, who had been Mississippi NAACP, who had been murdered 2 weeks before. Okay? And in fact, the memorial service was concocted at the last moment as a way to stop stop was, it was stop day. We called it stop, okay? A big meeting had been called, by Ed Brooke, the then Attorney General. And Ed Brooke called this meeting of all black leaders to talk about all the things that were in play. And they asked me, like, well, so Ed said to me, like, so what's this stop thing you're doing? What's this general strike you're doing? And he was trying to stop us from doing it, basically. And I said, well, this is what it is. This is why we're doing it. And I said, first of all, there's nothing anybody in here can do to stop this, because we're not going to stop it, because people have embraced doing it. And the folks from the NAACP, the Urban League, and others jumped up and said, well, we don't support it. We don't support it. It's too diffuse an action. We don't know what's going to really come out of this. What are you trying to get to happen? But, well, they basically didn't like the fact that there was a young Turk, or whatever, doing this. Okay, so they were in opposition. And one of them was so angry at me. They said he would punch me in the. They said they would punch me in the face. NAACP said he'd
How old were you?
How old was I? I was maybe, let's see, that was in 1963. I was about 29 maybe.
Yeah, it's like 55 years ago, 54 years ago.
Yeah, 54 years ago, yeah.